Well, unfortunately, someone, and by someone I mean DJ, was able to point production to some footage that I streamed about 2 weeks ago that I should have deleted in all retrospect now, but it's too late for that. Apparently, we have to show it on the stream, so let's just take a look at it.
It's the greatest thing.
Oh, wait, what is this?
That was you.
Oh, I didn't know we were showing that image too. So this is a new hobby I picked up. I'm doing electric skateboarding. It goes really fast.
Electric
as you
skateboarding
can see.
and falling.
The falling's not on here, thankfully. I've gotten a much cooler helmet since this video, I do have to mention. But
it's a regular Evel Knievel out here.
Living life on the rails. Look at this,
you
dude.
literally look like a toddler right now.
I'm hanging off. Oh, I see. Oh, see, look. Oh.
Wow.
I thought Ven was going to give me some credit, try to save things, and then...
A little wobbly. This guy was
just rolling with
recording
this
from his car, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know where this guy came from. I think he was just in his car for a good 20 minutes.
Show. The stunt.
Just checking it out, though, as he walks back.
Yeah.
It was a rough landing going back to the tripod there, but I don't know why. Yep. I don't know why I did that.
Why do you stroke your beard when you have zero facial
I think I just had an itch on the face. So I was just like, just, you know.
I don't know. I think they were a little bit too generous.
Whoa! What? That's it? That's all you're going to give me? Not even 5?
No, 1 out of 10, man.
Well, that's unfortunate. Let's hope.
You're going like 3 miles per hour. You just showed that it could go 24, but you were going slower than any normal skateboarder would go.
In case you didn't see the photos on Twitter, I did go like 24 miles an hour about a week later.
Show your hand now.
But yeah, my hand's still a little bit messed up. You can probably can't see it from far away, but I crashed and I messed up the hand. There's like still a pretty nasty bruise on my stomach. Yeah, there it is, 24 miles an hour. I don't know if it was that fast or not, but basically physics sucks because if you're going too fast on a loose board, you're going to lose control and faceplant. But I had a helmet covering my whole face. It's all good.
You had a face helmet, guys.
So it's a serious sport.
When Blue does anything.
I mean, you could technically consider me an extreme sports athlete, you know? Isn't that right?
It's pretty loose, a loose definition of that. But
I got a wild couple of hobbies people just don't know about.
You have a drone.
Yeah, that's true as well.
Okay, wait. How much have you used your drone?
Recently, not much.
In total, how many times have you used it?
I don't know, like 20, 30 times maybe.
Really? That many? Yeah. And your electric skateboard you rode twice?
Well, I got it like 3 weeks ago, but I've ridden it like 4 or 5 times.
4 or 5 times.
Yeah. I've been busy. Plus, DJ's here with his car now, so I don't have a license or a car or anything. That's why I got it, because I needed a way to get around. But anyway, moving on from those shenanigans, all of my interesting hobbies. Yeah, we are about to get started and ready to jump into this first matcher now. Let's kind of get your initial thoughts on how these.
You know who has really interesting hobbies though?
Who
is James Bardolph? Every
true.
week on Twitter, I see him posting something about going skydiving or like snorkeling or like things like that. It's crazy. That guy lives a crazy life.
He was talking about getting a helicopter's pilot license like the other day. So I mean,
you're kind of on that same level, Blue.
Yeah,
I think last week you re-upped your WoW subscription.
No.
It's pretty similar,
haven't played that game in like 3 months. Just putting that out there. Save myself.
Are you still paying for the subscription, Blue?
I think so, actually. I have to cancel that because I'm just wasting $15 a month right now.
9 level hundreds.
It's only like 5, but anyway. Yeah, so we're about to get started here. SK versus Misfits. The analyst has talked about it, about how Sean Garris' team in the last season, when they still had Echo Fox, obviously a completely different roster. He was the only, he had the only team that was able to take a match off of Cloud9 in the last season.
So he thinks maybe Misfits could give SK their only loss of the season? It's possible. I mean, it's definitely possible. I don't think it will happen, though. I think SK has been preparing a lot. I think they've been practicing a lot. I think they're really taking... Because the thing about SK is they had a roster change, and obviously using Phelps now. And generally when that happens, you kind of go in over. You play a lot of Counter-Strike. And this is a very dedicated team. SK is very dedicated players, very dedicated team. They're going to be practicing a lot. They're going to be very well drilled. Last time we saw them on Cbble, I was very confident that they play this map at like a Tier 1 level without a doubt. You know, so this is going to be very difficult for Misfits.
Yeah, I mean, Misfits themselves have not really shown them, like, you know, clicking into that high gear as of yet. They're still showing a lot of issues.
Well, the good thing for Misfits is that they beat Cloud9 2-0. Remember during the day we cannot speak about, the unspeakable day. No, but during that day, they actually beat them 2-0. And that's like, That is huge. I mean, because if you're battling for, like, let's be real, Misfits probably isn't going to be in the top 3, right, if they make playoffs. But they're trying to battle for that 5th or, like, 6th place spot. Those 2 wins could make all the difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, they could. That is huge.
That could be the difference that pushes them into the playoff slot essentially at the end of the day. So it's a really big deal to be able to take that, and especially if they can upset. Basically, like a lot of the time for these like middle of the road teams, it often comes down to how much you can upset against some of the bigger teams that are almost basically guaranteed a spot right at the beginning of the season.
I mean, this season as a whole has been like very different from last. I remember last season. We did not have nearly as many fill-ins, as many mid-season roster changes. I don't think we had as well. Nearly as many like coaches playing and things like that. I mean, obviously Cbble was injured. There's nothing he could do about it. Yeah. It's just an unfortunate thing that happened. But at the end of the day, they did have like a coach playing, and we've seen that happen like just throughout. The first half of the season. It's been constant. And if you're lucky enough with your schedule to play against the teams who are like, using a coach at the right time or maybe going through a roster change at the right time, it can kind of inflate your record a bit because you really only play these teams. You only play each team once, right? So if you're going to play against Cloud9, under normal circumstances, Misfits probably at best case scenario splits with Cloud9. Most likely goes 0-2 if they have Cbble. Let's just be real here, right? So going 2-0, I mean, against a team that you're not favored to beat, and then if you could just beat all the teams that you're supposed to beat with your Misfits, I mean, all of a sudden you're making playoffs. Yeah,
absolutely. And you're pushing yourself in. I mean, the crazy thing with all the changes that are happening is that we almost always see the roster swaps and whatnot tend to happen right before, like 3 to 4 weeks before the start of the season, and then it's pretty stable from that point forward. But it seems like there was like a couple smaller change-ups among some of the lower teams, and now as we're halfway through the season, a lot of the big changes are just happening right now. So it's really caused a lot of chaos, and even amongst the lower teams, there's just even more instability than we're normally used to here, especially among like Selfless, who I don't like. I think they are literally using like 4 fill-ins at this point. Yeah. So.
Right, you got to get your camp under control. All right.
It's like 3 or 4. It's got to be by this point, but it's just really weird how things continue to pan out. Across the entire division. It seems with a few exceptions. When you look
it's even more than that. Optic, one of the best teams in North America, right? They're going through roster instabilities. We see Liquid. They just lost Pimp. So they're going through. So even the higher tier teams and SK before the season started, they made a roster change as well. Yep. So there's been, I mean, almost every single team besides what Cloud9 has been making changes. What other teams have made any changes?
I mean, I don't think so because the Misfits roster just formed right before this season, so they're like a whole new team, technically speaking. And besides that, I don't think there are any teams that like have come into this that either aren't new or haven't made any changes besides Cloud9. They're the only roster that's remained consistent.
I mean, it's just been a crazy start to the season because of that.
Yeah, it's really a shame what happened with Optic too, considering like I said, they were pretty much the best team in North America. They had those 2 finals towards the end of the year and whatnot as well, taking E-League and then going to the ECS finals as well against Astralis. So everything sort of fell apart as we got into the new year. So it's caused a lot of chaos in this region. But speaking of chaos, we are finally live with the match, ladies and gentlemen. SK getting their start off on T side, Misfits jumping over to the CT side, and Shazam, well, finding some action right at the beginning of the round here, but unfortunately not getting very far with it. Phelps just destroys him, and immediately it's SK off to a 5v4 start in the pistol.
Yeah, Sean Garrett's going to try to even it up at CZ, but they're ready for it. They're waiting for it. Counter aggression comes out from Sick. He gets taken out. So this is probably just going to be a pretty clean round unless Twist could do something absurd.
And he does manage to pick up not one, but both of those kills. If he missed it, he did actually pick off Fur right at the end. Unfortunately, it's of little consequence. As with Taco finding the trade and Cold Zera picking off Relics in the rotate, that will not go any further. SK win that pistol, get themselves off to the good start on T side, and now we'll probably see Misfits just go for the usual second round investment here.
That's actually the same pistol we saw them run the last time we watched them on Cbble. And last time we watched them on Cbble, they didn't kill anybody at A. They just pushed it back, and they immediately just went back to B. So basically the pistol is you take that control. If you get the fights, you take them, and if you win them, you could obviously, do whatever you want mid-round or take the site, right? But if you don't get them, you go back to B after showing that presence. We saw that do it last time, and they went back to B the time before, and then they also had that lurk at drop. So now we're just going to see the anti-eco coming out. It looks like they're going to try to take drop control. This is neat, boosting above the smoke.
Now if Sean does peek back in, it's actually pretty easy pickings for him.
Very cool, though.
Yeah, not going to be on the mark to find the frag itself, but it's still... And again, there's really no damage traded out from it either. He doesn't get any response to that at all, so just free frag or just free early damage on the Sean. and hoping that someone from the right would have peeked in there. You can see Twist kind of hiding out in the window, and they'll just nade it out just to be safe here so that after that fades, they can deploy and get that control. But Misfits actually going to re-aggress in here with Sick now and putting Sean outside to watch from behind the boost-up box. Still very slow, though, but with plenty of time left, SK don't really have reason to worry just yet. They're all still sitting back, and again, they have broken wall platform control here, but actually Fur is found out in the initial push, Fallen able to trade, and you can see, again, the early damage that's been done to not one, but really two players here. And after this, well, Shazam will be able to trade out one more. It does still look like SK have pretty good control of the situation. Sick finding another pickup here, too, but I think he runs out of ammo and tries to ditch out of there, so SK still close it out, but not bad damage by Misfits at all here.
Yeah, 3 kills going Misfits' way. Shazam even getting just a USP kill. He's saving up for an op on that first gun round. But the setup just was kind of odd, right? They had nobody close, they had nobody statue, they had nobody hiding Coop or anything. And because of that, SK obviously only has to worry about one direction, right? There's nobody that's going to shoot him in the side or anything. And that kind of makes it a lot more difficult to win the round. Usually on eco rounds that you play, you're usually not going to win it if you're just taking straight up gun battles the whole time. You usually want to, you know, make some easy kills happen.
And speaking of those battles, right from the start of it, again, Misfits put so much pressure and drop that it actually overwhelms 2 players from the side of SK. Thankfully, Phelps and Taco are bringing it back pretty clean now. And Shazam is already brought down to be the last man standing, but consistent damage is going to be great here from Misfits heading on to that first gun round, as SK is not going to have that huge economy built up right at the start of it. They're actually going to be looking relatively weak with all these deaths.
Definitely a pretty good pair of ecos for Misfits. Let's take a look at SK's money here, right? And the main thing is if you can get your ecos in order to make it so that you win just one round and they have to save, then it's fantastic. As it stands now, most likely you're going to have to beat SK twice in a row before they have to save, so it's a little bit different. But a main reason from that is because they're keeping the MAC-10 and they're keeping the ump. Because of that, you're going to see Twist just buying ump. I think he's probably going to be the draw player.
And immediately, SK are going to try to go into high gear to push in towards drop, but the problem is they still heavily stacked it. So right off the bat, Twist gets himself a double kill. 6 on the steps, and they don't check it. And he manages to pick up 1, gets some great damage onto the second guy as well. It seems like SK tried to force the issue too quickly here, and Misfits were basically just sitting there with a full 4-man stack on the site ready for it. So now Fallen jumps below the broken wall in an attempt to change up the dynamic a bit, hoping to find 1 or 2 players from Misfits over-peeking for intel there to see if they're still here. But it's not looking good, to say the least, as he creeps back up. He might have an angle against Relics in a moment. He did just miss a chance right there. Now he has to go out for it, and he won't even be able to get the first kill he was hunting for. Now Coldzera versus the world, finding 1 by the statue. He knows he has presence by that boost-up box and drop, and I think he just saw it's Twist jumping fast over the statue here. And plenty of time to play with, but ultimately the odds are just stacked against him too heavily, and Sean will end the round, put Misfits up on the board here.
And that's something we see a lot from SK is if they win the pistol on a map like Cbble, they really just like to brute force things and try to go very, very fast. We see it on Train as well. If they win the pistol, a lot of the time they just try to go very fast pace, see if the other team is ready for it, you know, or anything like that. And sometimes they just have like some of the quickest halves of CS you'll see. And they usually do it online against other American teams. On LAN, a lot of the time slowing it down though, playing a lot more passive. Shazam going for a pick and first punishing that very nicely.
For the rest of SK here, probably actually going to be sending a lot of players directly in here in towards short A and even through the mid connector here too to try and add some pressure to it. I doubt they're going to follow through that quickly onto the site though, as they still have the bomb sitting in the B halls, currently being defended by Taco. And on the Misfits end of things, well, they haven't tried to overcommit towards any of the sites just yet, although that may be changing in a moment with Relics just hanging out on the site connector. Sick goes for, you know, a big push up there to try and check up on the broken wall platform, make sure they're not pushing there. He has confirmed it. But other than that, yeah, Relics did fully rotate back over here into the doorway, and then Sean down at the bottom of the ramp. He's holding it. Relics tried to hold up at the top of the ramp, I think. So he gets knocked out by Fallen on a peak. Sean's not really in a great position to be able to swing in and trade that out without putting too much risk on his own life. So things is not really working out again when it comes to the entries here, and it's going to allow for Phelps to swing in. They pre-check Sean's spot and take him down without too much trouble. Twist would be the only one that could really save this if they don't check the alleyway, but Perp, he's looking towards it. He also dispatches of Twist without too much trouble. So now it's just going to be Sick, and he'll ultimately probably just fall back to save.
Yeah, and Misfits actually did give themselves a chance to win that round. I mean, they had 3 players more towards A after that happened to kind of just play more aggressively over there. And if they come A, you know, maybe they can win it. Obviously, the kills don't go their way, but that is a smart move, especially on a map like Cbble.
And SK actually really wanting to hunt down this kill. You can see that they even delayed the plant for a few seconds back over there at the site. So they've got Sick boxed in now, and he has been checking for his flank. He's going to get that kill, and now he's only got one more in front of him, but didn't realize that Taco had also pushed past the wall there. So it's going to allow for SK to finally take him out. At a heavy cost to their own players, though. And keep in mind, their money is not necessarily amazing right now.
Yeah, if he killed him, I think he would have won the round because he would have heard the player flanking him and been able to get in like a great position near the bomb. You know, maybe taps it. He knows he's flanking him. He could just, you know, peek some headshot angle and kill him. Instead, loses that round. So now they're actually going to be on a save. Even though they had 3 alive, their economy is really broken right now, which really hurt. So 1-4 for SK. They had 2 chances to break their money. They don't succeed on the first one, but now they do. And Misfits probably going to save here and then probably try to buy next round.
Phelps just creeping right up again, trying to hunt down anyone else that would push into the mid-connector, looking for an early pick out against these Ts here. But Misfits, we have already seen actually some pretty good work in their stack over here towards drop, so I'm curious if it's going to have the same effectiveness when they try to do it here towards A short and the, or A long, excuse me, and the mid-connector itself. As Phelps swings in first, gets that kill, gets himself behind the door to avoid being traded out by Sick, knows he's there for sure, so he's just going to hug the doorway there to give himself the most room to work with. They also did push out a bit more towards the exit to A-long, but ultimately, Phelps is just going to swing back out there, take down Sick, and Shazam has pushed himself into the suicide steps. There's going to be a smoke in the way, which, while it's fading now, gives Phelps another opportunity to frag. He succeeds in it, and following with a perfect read, grabs Relics as he's pushing out from A-long, so textbook shutdown from SK here to push them up to 5 rounds.
Yeah, clean, easy, simple round for SK. I think Misfits is probably going to buy just because they had about 2,000. They're going to be at 1,900 here, so they should be able to get a decent buy. Sean will probably get an ump or something like that and maybe play around the drop room. One of the things about Cbble is, you know, we saw it in that second gun round, is that like that early frag. If you get that early frag and you make it 4v5 on T, it's one of the easier maps to convert the round. It's really easy to predict what the CTs are going to do next. There's only a couple places they could really push from. Yeah, they can maybe boost drop, but generally you're going to see B plat control. Sometimes they try to re-aggress at A and the halls or mid, but it's very easy to punish things like that. So the CTs just don't have that many options to even it up. Where as you see like a map like Overpass even, you know, there's a lot of different areas that you can go. You could try to even it up in the bathrooms and make like these chaotic situations work. You know, pushing long A, you could push, you know, sewers at short B and stuff. But Cbble's a little bit different.
And now Misfits, once again, going back into that usual 3-2 split here. Actually still pretty heavy commitment out towards long A and into the suicide steps in the case of Shazam. But thankfully SK at the moment are playing this into more of their own sort of default here. And while they do have 4 into the B halls though, so there could be a pretty quick follow-up bomb towards a platform/drop push that we are used to seeing here. And it's going to fall to those 3 on Misfits to try and defend this. They're playing a lot more close this time. You'll note back on the back on their eco rounds, they tried to stack over there towards drop at this time. They are adding a lot more pressure over here towards the platform area instead. As they even go up to nade it back out with not much success, unfortunately. Fallen just shooting off so many op shots, but not being able to connect on anything here. And again, really just waiting for SK's Q to go into the site here as time gets lower and lower. 45 seconds now remaining on the clock. And it does appear that they are finally going to attempt for the push. First starts us off. Even the Molotov inside of the window room too is going to restrict them from pushing back in. They have themselves a smoke covering off the cross between the broken wall and the boxes there, but perfect positioning from Relics, and he does push himself forward to be able to trade out both Taco and Fallen, taking them down. That re-gives huge amounts of control of the site over to SK, over to Misfits, and all SK have to work with now is going to be that drop room. Relics moving himself out, gets one before going down, but now Sick chimes back in. This leaves Phelps into a 1v3 scenario with only 10 seconds remaining on the clock. He's going to try to work something out here, but it's just not going to happen. He's stuck behind the boost up box. They know where he is now, and they're all playing this together, so they can very easily swing back out and overwhelm him while only losing one more player.
Yeah, and a broken buy by Misfits, 2 umps, a mag 7, still able to win this round, but their economy is in shambles, and if they lose this one, it'll be 6-2, and Misfits is going to have about 1,500. And it's going to be a very tough road for the rest of this half.
Oh boy.
Oh my. I hope this continues for the rest of the season.
Probably is. Just make random appearances here and there. Here. I really regret buying that helmet now. Just far too many bad things has come from it. All right, well, it did take us into another gun round, though, as SK still had enough to buy through it, and there's a lot of confusion because of these smokes. 1-1, now 2-1 trades in the favor of SK, with Fur picking them both up. The rest of Misfits actually split pretty far back. Only Relics on the site. They're working on a flank from Sean, but Phelps spots that come in. I think Sean was just fully running on that one, so he was able to hear him and detect that pretty easily. Now for Shazam, I mean, he's gotten here in time, but they still have to make the impact, unfortunately. And they're both stuck behind just the boost up at rock position while they're still working again to drop presence from the T's. So both Relics and Shazam get taken down without too much extra pressure, and SK re-pick up the round and reset the losing bonus for the guys on Misfits.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised they have Relics playing long B like that. I believe that was Relics, right? That was crouched underneath?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised. Like, when I think about Relics, I don't think about him as like a close range player. I don't think that's like one of his skill sets to be in those like chaotic environments like that. I'm surprised he's in that situation. I would think he's more suited to like maybe the A site or playing around Statue. But yeah, so SK wins that round, puts Misfits on a force buy, and SK is in a really good position this half.
SK, again, just splitting up into the default once more, but they are getting a little bit more adventurous with, I believe that's Phelps over there towards A long, as he's moved all the way in to try and clear it out. Misfits have been no strangers to putting additional CTs out into the open here, but this time on an eco round, they've gone back to stacking areas of the map, and once more, it's over here towards the drop room where SK have continued to pressure their own players towards to get that early control, and oftentimes actually have gotten tripped up quite a bit, which has caused some delay. Still, for the most part, they've been able to recover upon it, but now Phelps sneaking his way back in. Shazam, fortunately, poor timing with his choice to look back over there towards the ramp, and it's going to give Phelps an easy frag to start things off, and he can even start to move back in and crunch. Gets himself an additional kill before going down to Twist. Fallen is also with him here now too, so he's going to try to creep back in. And I'm not sure if he noticed Twist go inside of there, but he assumes he has, and now just waiting for him. Lines up the perfect headshot. They even called for his teammates to now rotate back out of those B halls and just come over to the site, volleying out the only place on the site they didn't check to make sure that there's no surprises waiting for them. And again, like I said before, it's just textbook clearing from SK to win out these anti-ecos.
Yeah, and all of a sudden on anti-ecos now, they just have like Phelps and Fur who could just kind of scout around the map, you know, see what's going on. Just an uncanny ability to win gun battles and also just kind of take whatever ground is given to them. So it's a weapon that Fallen uses on these anti-ecos to be very successful in them. And, you know, SK, it's going to be 7-2 now. Misfits does not have a lot of money. They're probably just going to be saving this CZ's, or maybe the CZ on Sean if he's able to save it. And, you know, we see Phelps already 14-6.
Yeah, just going off at this point. And
Misfits doesn't have a coach, huh?
No, they don't.
I mean, you don't really need a coach when you have the greatest tactical mind in North American. No, yeah. That's a meme for my stream. Everyone says that. It's like the most copy-pasted thing.
Yeah, it's not, 2 years ago anymore, unfortunately.
No.
It's been a while since he's...
Shots fired, Blue. Damn.
Well, I mean, he's just been out.
Shazam having a rough game, though, man. 1-8. Not really making any impact for Misfits. Kind of not really in the play, though. You know, SK has been going B almost every single gun round, right? They've gone A a little bit on the ecos. So he hasn't really had a chance.
Yeah, and again, we can see here, too, SK just clearing out drop once more. Misfits keep trying to stack it, but like the problem is SK knows this now, so they just watch out for that. And that time, it was just an attempt to kind of send players in one by one.
I think Fur wants them to stack it. I don't think Fur... I'm pretty sure if there was 5 players in drop on when they have USPs, Fur's like, perfect. He probably tells them in chat.
Good, yes.
Yeah, he probably tells them in chat, he's like, please play 5 drop. I am going there. And then he'll just murder everyone. Like, so just doing what Fur wants at that point.
So the pause is going to get called here, I assume, from Misfits' side. As clearly there are some issues here with just their CT side and not being able to defend much. A lot of this is coming down to just the fact that, again, all of the opening duels, as you were mentioning, is going by the way of like Phelps and Fur, and they're just having no problem walking right up and taking control,
you know, when you're
on
the start. And when you're on the CT side and you lose the pistol and you're not able to string together multiple rounds, this is what happens. You get in these just terrible economic situations. And at the end of the day, Misfits is saying, like, I don't even feel like I had a chance so far. It just seems like I have umps. I'm just rotating. I don't have the utility. We win around, but then we don't win it cleanly, and we don't have much, you know, going for us as far as weaponry and utility is concerned. And it's just one of those games where it just goes by you. I mean, this game has only been like 15 minutes long so far. and it's already 8-2, and Misfits is in a pretty dire situation, right? It just happens like that in CS:GO when the economy dictates it like this.
Yeah, and this is one of those games too. I think you also brought this up, where SK, I mean, they have no problem. Hello, chicken. Where they have no problem just SK just playing a very simplistic T side and letting their own individual players do it. I mean, again, this has been an issue for them against like more pro teams in the past, where the problem is they rely on that a little bit too much, and it becomes problematic when they go against some of the bigger teams over in Europe and whatnot. But here, they have no problem just going for these very direct strats and relying on the entry power that we've seen in multiple rounds here to shut down any attempts at setting up defense on the CT side.
Yeah, now they're going to change it up. They have 4 towards A. Who is that? I believe it's Taco towards B. He just threw B nades, I'm assuming. Kind of try to keep their guys there, and then it's going to be some type of like a 5-man A take. Probably very bursty once again.
And what's more, everybody just going to be trying to move in early on here after, I think a pop flash going to be working its way over the top here, and indeed completely blind Shazam.
No, that was so sick.
Shazam chooses to fall back so late, so Phelps just rolls right out and destroys him. There's a nice flank on its way in from Sean, though, and he's going to be able to line up 2 frags back-to-back as he goes through Suicide to line those up. Still, though, site control is under the power of SK, and with Taco knocking out Sean, they've lost that flanking advantage. But with 2 hiding out inside of the shed here, they're going to see if they can make a difference against Phelps, but I think he's realized what's going on. In fact, he's watching out for more, but he gives himself away to 6. So now it's an advantage to Misfits in terms of the manpower here. Fallen and Taco, both playing from different positions, though, so they can have a nasty crossplay if they try to go out the door here. Fallen already getting 1. Taco can restrict them from going outside of the shed, but no, misses his first attempt at a duel. So now it goes to Fallen, who's playing in the usual corner here, lines up some good damage on the first player, but he loses half his own HP and immediately goes down to Twists when he meets full contact. It's Misfits finally picking up another gun round, as they'll pick it up 3-8.
Yeah, nobody watching the flank. Sean just walks through the danger smoke, kills 2 in the back. They definitely knew Phelps was pushing, and he was up close. They must have heard him on the rotate or something like that, because they really hard cleared it and waited for him, and that was like the key kill. You know, it's okay that Sean flanked 2 because they traded on it. A 3v3 post plan at A, you expect to win that much more often than not, right? You're fine with that. If you could tell me every round is going to end in a 3v3 post plan at A, I would say, all right, we're going to win every game, you know?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, Phelps was kind of caught out. They knew where he was, and that was the key kill that round.
Fallen, again, just gone hunting there, and he almost had himself a catch. As we could see, players were starting to mess around with both the broken wall and the steps. Phelps as well, getting tagged a little bit there through Suicide. CTs have put heavy presence inside of there once again, this time with Shazam and Sean playing it together inside of that area. But for SK, most of their players are back over here towards the B push. The A play didn't really go so well as we saw in the last round. They got flanked down. They weren't paying attention to it, so they're going to go back to what works out for them, which is, for the most part, just these direct B hits. And it's being restricted a little bit, but the problem is yeah, Taco has this boost up spot, and it is outside of the smokes. So if anybody goes for a wide peek right now, they're from the Cubby and Relix's case, they're sick, just swinging out from the boxes. That's an easy shot for Taco to hit if they're not paying attention to that position. And now that they start to fade away, it's time to move in. We've got a minute left to take control. Taco's going to move out, catches the first kill. Relix has to try and make an impact here to trade it back out, but I think they know he's sitting in the Cubby as well, because they're just waiting it out even longer now.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they didn't time their peaks together, where maybe Sick takes contact, Jiggle peeks, hides, and then Relix wide swings, and then Sick wide swings after that.
He's not going to get mollied back out, but nobody's really paying attention to it, though, so he sneaks away with a kill. Thankfully, drop control was pretty quickly gained from SK, so Cold's going to be in a great position to find the trade back onto that one. But at the same time, Twists also having himself a good angle, knocking out another player from SK, and he has the angle lined up to where he's just going to be able to sneak off onto Phelps here when they boosted him up on top of the box. So again, picking him off from range, Misfits being able to find a slight advantage to work with here, but now they've gone towards drop, where at the moment, Cold Sarah just destroys all 3 of them. Shazam, Twist, and Sean all go down to it, and it's a 4K on the round for Cold.
Great job by Cold, and again, Misfits money, man. They win 1 round, they lose the next. They're, either going to full eco or just pistol armor. I mean, Relix gets half armor here. So yeah, they're going for it. They're saying, hey, we just can't, we can't give SK 10 rounds and be down 10-3. I think that was a little bit of a miscue by SK, though. When they threw those double mollies, I think they should wait on that Olaf smoke a little bit, the broken wall smoke, and then let it clear out. Because you saw, Relix doesn't get that kill and he doesn't run away if that broken wall smoke isn't there, right? So maybe wait a second on that, throw the mollies, and then, once it's clear, then throw it.
Good timing on this flashbang to try and push for control of the platform, but Coldzera does move in to try and bail out his teammate. Unsuccessful in doing it, but he does trade out the frag there. and tries to push back the second player that had pushed up with him. Shazam will remain alive for right now. Nobody paying attention, but oh, Phelps pulls out a molly as soon as he goes through the doorway there. He had himself what could have been a free kill against Twist, but he's able to react in time with the molly getting pulled back out, and now SK throw away what could have been an advantage towards them. We have to hope Fur inside of the drop room here can trade it back, and thankfully he can, taking back down Relics and holding control to wean off any more of the rotators from the other site. Fallen also dispatches of Shazam before he can have any impact, but now there is an AK sitting a little bit further back. Fur, ooh, really late on that peek there. Sean just went full race car over towards the doorway there, so he's able to escape the wrath from the window. coldzera, though, can spot the shadow, so he's just going to destroy Twist through the tree, and now Sean has to try and pull off a 1v3.
Not going to happen.
Yeah. Cold and drop room seem to be pretty synonymous here in this half with him.
This has got to be probably the... I mean, 2-12 for Shazam. I think he's been like one of the statistical leaders this whole season, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and just...
God damn it. It's just like the face of regret.
Today's a great day.
So Misfits are going to be broken here. Again, just working with the P250s. Shazam doesn't have anything. I think he's saving for the op on the last round here. And again, Fur rolls right in the drop room. They don't even try to contest it this time. They do have a CT. Oh, hiding behind the flower pod. Good adjustment from Fur though to grab Sick as he peeked out from the sidewalk. Cole trying to swing in from the other direction here too as he's looking to check behind him, it looks like. But Shazam and Twist both picking up some kills as well. Taco pushing himself forward here, trying to bring it back, but Misfits are holding. This is a 4v2 all of a sudden, and they're trying to move this back over to make it an A take here as Phelps goes in, takes down Sean, but it took so long to get that kill that they've got Twist sitting in the site now.
Yeah, SK getting a little loose here. Kind of feel like they got this game in the bag. They're going a little crazy right now.
And Twist, nicely played from behind the APC. He grabs both of those kills right at the end of it. No armor as well to work with on that one, so good stuff from him.
I mean, they're living life dangerously, almost as dangerously as you live life, judging by the clips we see of you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. They're not there. See, that's the thing about SK. Like you, they're not afraid to just take those risks.
Never know, man.
With the full face helmets.
Drones, dogs, and longboards with me, man. That's the way I live life. Never know what's next. Nintendo Switch. That was the other one. That was a good investment, though. The thing's a lot of fun. But getting back on track, SK on the final round here are going to look to try and get that 11-4 advantage. But the problem is now they're going to go against a nasty buy from Misfits here. And we can see, once more, fast attempts to move out for platform control here on B. But Shazam also takes down one closer towards A. And Fallen really trying to get this boost to work for him, but is not being able to find anything over top of those smokes. CT's even reapply it this time towards the steps. And he tried so hard to get up on top of that box, but
acting a fool.
Just couldn't do it.
The blooper reel, man. You didn't think you'd see it from SK, but it can happen to anybody.
You never know in CSGO. I think that's Eric that said that first last season. So, I mean, Misfits pretty much in full control of this round now, especially with all the utility being wasted on SK's side. They've got one more smoke to try and make a take. If they could somehow turn this around, it would be incredible. But without any map control, and now especially being down to 40 seconds remaining, I don't see how they're going to try and do this. It does appear as though they'll attempt to make just another direct B hit here and hope that it works out in terms of their entry power. I mean, they still have Fur and Cold rolling. Those have been some of the big hitters so far in this half, but Cold's leading the charge, and that could prove to be rather risky as he immediately goes down to Relics. And Misfits looking good now to hold on to it as these last two, pushing out towards Baruch. And there's so much defense set up from the CTs here. Taco missing his first shot. Both are playing like right next to each other as well. And there's so many back by the tree and rock and this big box boost up position. Taco sneaking off one, but then immediately Twist and Sean knock out the other two. So a little bit of light from Misfits there at the end of the half as they do bring it back up to 5. Still a lot of recovery to do in the second half though. We'll see if they can keep it going on the other side in just a few minutes right here at the ESL Pro League.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, Mountain Dew League, and ESEA.
And we are back here again, ladies and gentlemen. Our first map of the night. It's well underway between the guys from Misfits and the Brazilian squad known as SK. They currently lead 10-5, although it could have been something like 12-3 there. They got a little bit too loose at the end of the half and unfortunately threw away a couple opportunities, so it's going to end up a little bit closer than some may have imagined with Misfits, showing up really poorly there at the start, but being able to recover a bit towards the end.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it. Yeah, we see it all the time. I mean, the team feels like they just got it in the bag. They kind of just, everybody does whatever they want, and they kind of get punished for it. It's really what happened in the last couple of rounds. I mean, they were playing against USPs or P250s or whatever, and they all just kind of ran around. And then on that last round, they're just trying to do some crazy boost for about 40 seconds. So it happens. They feel like they got this game in the bag, so that's kind of why they were doing that. Like if this had been 8-6, you probably wouldn't have seen that, but being 10-3, a lot of the time teams just get a little bit loose, they get a little bit wild, and they just kind of just want to have fun.
It's a great view of the map here. Real scenic. So, yeah, the match is live, though, ladies and gentlemen, so we are going to jump into the pistol round here now. And as we take a look at it, once again, SK, assuming that they are still able to close into this pistol round, the match is still very much theirs to lose at that point. But if Misfits can bring us a good pistol round and allow for them to come back into it, well, we could very well be looking at 8-10, another close matchup there, where SK is going to have to start off strong immediately on the gun rounds if they want to, retain this big advantage that they had coming out of the half now. And like Misfits pretty much is going to go with a straightforward attempt to drop out of the window. Everybody's going for it too, but look at it, it's just a slaughterhouse right now. Coldzera and Fallen both take down 4 players, and Sean tries to sneak out the other way, but Phelps rings around, and he wants a piece of the action as well, so he picks up the last one. And it's easy for SK to find the first pistol here on the half.
Wow. That was just a slaughter. That was a slaughter, my goodness.
No contest at all. So easy stuff for SK to be able to keep that lead going. And yeah, a little bit worried there with the possibility for Misfits to try and retire if they won the pistol, but not anymore. As they're right back in control. And without the plant, Misfits just forced into this one. Go pretty straightforward here, but look at this with Phelps leaping right up on top, finds the bomb as well. Coldzera coming in to bail him out when he does get flashed. Now he's just winning. He did run out of ammo there on the SMG, is why he's going over to his USP, but Shazam finally taking him out of the action here. There's still a lot more to deal with, though, in terms of CT sitting on this site. In the first one, the bat back at them is going to be Fur. Shazam, though, now armed with his own UMP, is able to pick up one, but that's going to be it. Fallen gets a nice quick double kill right at the end of it there, and SK, again, pushing forward up to 12 now.
Yeah, Misfits just looking outmatched.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like they're standing much of a chance against SK. I mean, SK is just kind of playing with them at this point. Fallen by an AWP against P250s. They got a deagle on Shazam. So it should be another easy round for SK. Everybody going towards B except for Sean Garrett's just kind of watching the Dragon Lair. You pretty much know Fur is going to push at this point.
He's going to be going for it pretty quickly here. The problem
There's
is
pretty much zero question that was going to happen.
He does end up meeting his match early on there, though, as they spring a trap for him. But a small victory for Misfits.
He tweeted me like 2 days ago.
Fur?
Yeah, and he said, because he wanted to do the Road to Global with me, he's like, hey, Diz, I'll queue up with you. And I'm like, no, man, you'll kill everyone, and then I won't get any frag. And he's like, no, I could play passive Kappa.
Just keep me in the back and let me out of the cage when everybody else goes down. Well, for Misfits here now, again, they got that early kill. I think they were hoping... I mean, they're trying to play... It looks like that's the point. They're just trying to play against the super aggression we were seeing from SK, as they're just sitting back and waiting it down. But after losing one player there, we don't want a repeat of what happened at the end of the half before. So I think they're going to play things a little bit more normally for the rest of this round. Good timing on the Molotov, too. Just as they were about to push through to it with the smoke fading, delaying them even more. As it does look like they're going to go pretty straightforward out towards the platform here with their bomb. Still delaying it, though, is actually, again, they do end up swinging back over towards the mid connector, but yeah, SK has even presence across the map, so they're going to know this is coming. You already have a third player rotating in from B, and the fourth is hanging out and drop in case they wanted to split it. Phelps getting himself some nice frags here, and Fallen helping out as well. Coldzera picking up one more, and oh, both players just going down right at the same time. There's 6 sneaks one in onto Phelps, but that's going to be it. SK picking up those first 3 rounds. Granted, not as clean as they could have had it, but with the loose style they're playing, you can't really fault them too much for that, as now Misfits are going to get their first buy.
Yeah, they should know Fallen has an op. I'm sure he took a shot that round. But SK probably knows that, you know, Misfits doesn't have an op as well. And whenever you're Fallen and you're an operator and you know that the other team probably doesn't have an op, it actually just opens up the map a lot for you, right? You can go for almost any aggro pick you want. And probably get out safe, or at least make him use utility to push you back, or the worst case scenario, take a good amount of map control.
Sean's trying to hold back here again and wait for his team to deploy, and it looks like they're going to go again pretty quickly. They've already got smokes they want to move out, but Molly just got in the way, so now they're going to leap through that. They had to use one of their smokes to try and get past that Molotov here now. And again, there's a lot of confusion as they end up getting smoked out and flashed out themselves. And all right, so that smoke's going to roll right out there. As Sick, again, is actually, you know, making good work of this along with Sean. They've been able to actually knock out 2 of the CTs right up on the site. Rotations were quick, so they are back in here, but the problem is it's 3v5 to go back in. Molly gets wasted, ends up just diving itself right into a smoke there, and there's so many players from Misfits just stacked over there, either below or right on the steps here on the platform, so it's not giving them a whole lot of room to work with. They're taking it slow again. Everybody on the CT side is a kid, but oh, Shazam might have just put an end to it right there. Knocks out.
He got mollied out and still got 2 kills moving to his left, and Misfits took almost 0 damage besides the nade damage. That Molotov and the HE grenade are what took everybody from Misfits. That did about 250 damage, just that. But I don't think SK fired a shot during that take. It was just clean. Sean Garrett, somehow he gets a kill. It looked like he was just full blind, just sitting there for like 3 seconds. That was pretty funny to see, but he got a kill before that. You know, Taco and Phelps just playing very close. And not able to really get anything going. They just get blind. Misfits gets unblind before them, and now they're on this broken buy with 2 umps, 2 mag 7s, and an M4 on cold.
Trying to watch out for all avenues across the map here now. Fallen playing the first shotgun out over here towards long A, and he might get himself an opportunity to find some frags with it here. Sean is going to be first up on the bat to try and go in and challenge him here, but Fallen swings right out but misses the shot. He goes down. Coldzera is there for 1 and 2 trades along with a third, and he puts a stop to all of that aggression from Misfits. The remaining 2, well, we're either going to attempt to drop split or now, unfortunately, have the option to go just directly into B, as this is all they have. But Phelps, unfortunately, gets stuck on the flashbang there, so it prevents him from going for that direct roll in on the window that I'm sure he wanted to do. And the T's just trying to slowly work their way out to make some sort of a take happen here. But with that smoke in the way, will prevent Taco from pushing directly, and it also stops them from moving out here for a few extra seconds. And in that time, well, they've seen Phelps regroup up with Taco. And while they did take down Phelps, Taco is still here. He's still behind them, and he's got an easy angle to sink at least 1 kill there. Takes down Sick. He's done great damage to Twist. And if he peeks out too far, Cold's just going to be waiting for him. Good shot from Twist, though, but unfortunately, when he goes up against Cold, Cold's going to win it out and put SK up to 14.
Just huge, like, impact rounds by Cold. I mean, the guy is 24 and 8. I think he had 2 3Ks before that. He got 2 on the pistol. He got 4 that round. Both his 3Ks were, I believe, on like impact gun rounds. Remember when he was in drop room, he got a 3K then. And he had another one earlier in that first half that I can't remember quite when it happened. But I mean, just giant impact rounds by Cold.
And off of that, he's pretty much pushed SK right through into what is going to appear to be a relatively easy victory if everything goes as planned from this point forward. Misfits forcing into this round as much as they can with 2 AKs and 3 Tech 9s. It's not our nuke game from last night, so again, we would imagine that SK still hold a pretty good advantage here now as Fallen grabs the first shot. He definitely knows there's more coming up, but he tries to take a second peek anyway. He's got to be careful because they're getting close up to that wall, but bails out just in the nick of time. First sees the shadows on the other side, gets the first one and the second, and Fallen even grabbing a third from behind them there. Coldzera is going to have no problem swinging out to grab the last kill, and it's clean up to 15 for SK.
That was easy, man. That was such an easy hold for SK. That was so routine by them. Fallen and Fur. I mean, look at this. Just
dominated.
What are you going to do? You're jumping up over a wall into a close range mag 7, and then you have to worry about that and an opper deep peeking you from, I believe it was APC.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Not much without any smoke.
Really not much you can do. Yeah. That's generally why you have 1 person long A on a shot like that, Blue. so that doesn't happen.
We don't see that pressure at all from Misfits, so everything ends up going pretty poorly. And now, well, obviously they force into it again here in what could be the last round, but the buy is not going to be that great. 4 Tech-9s, 1 Deagle on Shazam. Everybody stacked up at the Broken Wall approach. So we will have to see if they can make anything out of this one. They're also going to put some players in drop there too, as you saw a moment ago. Drop guys have already initiated. CT's not really heavily contesting it. Great shot from Twist to find it midair. Sick also grabs one too. Fallen trading element, that's all he's going to get. And there's Cold though and Taco working together to destroy the Broken Wall push. Twist coming in on a flank, but he's only going to be able to get 1. And off of that, SK do close out in dominating fashion here on Cobblestone and take the map 16-6, I believe, being our final score.
Another 3K by Cold on that last round, I believe. Guy's just a monster.
The whole
I was talking with the legend.
The legend.
Okay, A2Z last night about it, actually. Yeah, A2Z. I was talking with A2Z, man. I was blessed to even have a conversation with that guy. No, when I was telling him, I'm like, Cold Zero, like, you know, whenever I play with him and I watch him play, he seems so under control, but then he kills people so fast, and he has such composure to when he plays, and really very few people in the world can do that. I mean, we're talking about like him, Forrest, you know, those type of players. Nico, just very composed under like pressure and never panicky, nothing like that. Just, and it's really a pleasure to watch.
All right, well, to close out the discussion here on map number 1, we're going to bring our analysts into the conversation. SK seeming unstoppable, guys. What contributed so quickly to Misfits' demise here on Cobblestone?
I think it might have something to do with SK running around like they own the place.
Yeah, that was SK imposing their will onto Misfits for the better part of that first half. You know, you guys, ended the cast talking about Cold Zero, but I think it's, you know, a must to bring up both Fur and Phelps, because that first half, it was pretty much their show for the first 10 rounds. They, like you said, they just kind of ran around doing whatever they wanted, and can't, you know, off the top of my head, couldn't think of a single round where Misfits actually came out ahead in any sort of opening duel in these rounds. And that's obviously a massive issue. If you're Misfits, you need to have some sort of a advantage going into these rounds, especially when you're playing on that CT side where economy becomes a massive issue. You need a lot of utility to be able to hold off set executes on this map, and they just get into that rut, which is nearly impossible to get out of.
Well, we saw a 10-5 half from SK over there as the T side. I mean, was it the storyline that Fur and Phelps were just out there having their way with Misfits?
Well, honestly, yeah, I think in a lot of ways. You could see them slowing down the tempo eventually as we get towards the later stages of the first half, and I think that's somewhat due to what Sam was mentioning, the fact that when you have a big lead, you can get complacent and not be as crisp about what you do in terms of how you actually progress, you know, get map control and so on as a team, and you more or less let your individuals just run about and do whatever. And obviously Misfits able to capitalize on that because, you know, they're not a weak team by any means, so they're going to punish you if you overstep your boundaries in that sense. But I think it could have been a lot worse of a scoreline from the first half if SK just had kept it going the first like they did the first 10 rounds.
Absolutely. And moreover, I think this is a prime example of, well, we saw Shazam, right? Yeah. And he got off to a rough start in that first half. And I think this is a prime example of what could happen to that Misfits side if they don't have all of their pieces moving properly.
Yeah, no, it's definitely an issue, especially if they want to compete with the very best in their region, right? I think it's a necessity. And we talked about how Shazam has been a massive part of Misfits being in the spot where they are right now, earlier in the season, right? He's been having a great season so far. But I think, you know, I don't think you can blame him too much for his performance in this game because, as pointed out already, SK focused heavily on B initially, you know, on a lot of their weapon rounds, which puts Shazam in a position where whenever he has an op, he becomes the rotator over towards B. And we know retakes on both of these sides are extremely tough to do. So you're not really getting him in a position where he can succeed without too many issues.
Well, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to have SK and Misfits on Mirage. Make sure you guys are here when we come back.
I can't understand